Woof.
Hello, CQ, the old friends net. CQ, the old friends net. The old friends net is an amplitude modulation net. Do not suppress your carriers. We operate here on 3715 in the round table fashion every Sunday at 4 p.m. and every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. here on 3715. Anybody and everybody is welcome to check in. You'll find this is a great place to fellowship, to discuss vintage equipment, and to look for parts and just have a good time. So let's go ahead and start the check-ins. N4LQ listening.
Good afternoon, Steve. WA4LLR.
W4KR.
WB4ARK.
AN4R.
WB4NKL.
K4G4IUQ.
W4MEC.
Okay. Had some strong, some weak, some squeak, and some howl, but you're all there. First of all, I heard Dave, WA4LLR, Stan, W4KR. John, your audio kind of dropped out there a little bit. KZ4B, and Buddy, WB4ARK, and Brian KN4R, Cliff, WB4NKL, and Mark, KG4IUQ, and W4MEC Charlie. Do we have any more check-ins?
K4JAL.
K3OS.
All right, recognizing K4JAL right after MEC, and then K3OS. Do we have any more check-ins? Interesting. All right, down the list real quick. LLR, KR, Z4B, ARK, KM4R, NKL, IUQ, MEC, JAL, and OS. One more time for check-ins. Call now.
WSBU, Whiskey Foxtrot 2 Uniform.
WF2U got mirror, and I heard something hotel. Who was that?
W4BOH. W4BOH. Wilson in Hillsboro.
Yeah, okay, Wilson. Good to hear you. Glad to have you. W4BOH. That's anybody else. All right, real quick, we'll do it again. LLRKR, 4B, ARK, 4R, NKL, IUQ, MECJALOS, 2U, and BOH, and then it comes back to me, N4LQ, Wilson. So, well, I hope everybody's doing well. The weather's improving. It's already 56 degrees, and I think tomorrow it may reach up into the low 60s, and then up in the 70s maybe Tuesday. So we're happy about that, and we're happy to be here and on AM and still kicking. So let's start the go-round. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the old friends, WA4LR. Well, good afternoon to everyone on the net. Good signals up here in the eastern Yancey County. Running the AF68, PMR8 with a little help from the SB220. We've got 50 degrees in the shade, 55 in the sun. Just an absolutely gorgeous Sunday afternoon, crystal clear skies and very little wind. So it is a welcome change. Enjoying this weather very much. Looking forward to hearing a report from Dalton. So we'll get the ball rolling. Stan, how are things down your way? W4KR, WA4LLR.
Yeah, all right, Dave. Good afternoon to you. WA4LLR. And the assembled multitude here, W4KR. Suburban Walhalla. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Temperature here this afternoon is 55, and I have the old 813 rig on this morning or this afternoon. That's usually up on 40 meters, but I dragged it down here today. Pair 813s modulated by a pair of 813s, and usual half-wave dipole. And let me see, Dalton was good. We went over, John and I drove over Friday midday, left here about noon, got back at 3 o'clock, poked around the site for a little bit, wasn't a whole lot going on, and went on to the motel, and then came back Saturday morning, left the hotel about 6:30 and got over to the site about 10 minutes later, and oh boy, they were in parking bedlam over there early in the morning. Cliff, I wonder how you found it. It was getting in was bedlam, because the line to get in, they I guess decided they weren't going to let anybody starting to come in until 7:30, and they didn't get that done on time either. The traffic at that point was backed up all the way out, all the way down the road back to what's the name of that street, Greenwood, and it was slow getting in, but I snuck into a decent parking space between the two buildings. Couldn't complain about that. Stayed for quite a while. The boneyard I don't think was too active, and it appeared that that maybe attendance was down a little bit from last year. But there was an awful lot of fellowship going on in the brick building, which was great. Some in the upper and the north building as well. But a good time, and we left about midday. Got back here about 3 o'clock and both took a nap. Took a nap till about 6 o'clock and got up and decided we were going to have a real light dinner and went back to bed. Otherwise, all's well. Let's see here. What do I do with it? I turn it to, I said it was 55, so it is. KZ4B, John, good to hear you today. KZ4B in the Old Friends Group, W.
Okay, Stan. W4KR in the group. This is KZ4B. Fine business. Good signal with some QS Baker. Dave, I've got a question. I was reading up on the Johnson 500, and it said that it had the same VFO as the Ranger, which was like 160 through 6 meters or something like that. But that it really only transmitted on 80 through 10, that everything following the VFO wasn't there below 80 meters or above 10. You might comment on that on the next go-round. And the news from here, one of my walking mates, I went walking today, the next door neighbor with all the geese, not the one with the solar systems, was putting a kitchen in his basement, working on it, and he fell off a ladder and destroyed his ankle, just shattered it into a jillion pieces. So he's going to be down for about the next 5 weeks. But fortunately, he has a renter, a guy from his church that rents a bedroom from him, and he's there to feed the geese and help him get around because he is totally immobile. I brought him some Chick-fil-A yesterday, and you'd think I'd given him a check for $1 million. Shifting gears, let's see. I had something else I wanted to check on, and it has slipped my mind. So, over to you, buddy. WB4ARK in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Okay, John. Well, the temperature here is 59. We finally reached a high. I think that's the high for today. Blue sky, not a cloud, and really turned out to be a very nice afternoon. The equipment we're using is the ART13 R390A, and going through the matchbox to or the trans match to a horizontal dipole. Well, we're staying safe here. We're not getting on any ladders right this minute, although we need to climb the tower and take our beam down. So somebody might be looking for a Mosley TA33 beam. I've got one for sale. So with that, over to Brian, KN4R, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy. Very good. WB4ARK in the group. Brian, KN4R, Cheryl Ford, where it's also a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Looking forward to taking a little walk after the net here. And no ladders for me. And, buddy, you stay off those ladders, too. Sounds bad. But I appreciate Alan's pictures of the Ham Fest. And the boneyard was better attended than I thought it would be at whatever it was, 20 degrees in the morning. But anyway, congratulations to everybody who attended. And I want to say a special hello to Wilson, W4BOH. Wilson, you sound really, really good over here today, so you have to tell us what you're running when the time comes. I'm using the Globe Champ 350 here and listening on the real national HRO. My Australian HRO decided the HT off position, the heater or high tension off control decided not to work anymore, so I can't mute it, so I'll have to go into it. So anyway, so I went back to the old receiver. So anyway, over to you, Cliff. Tell us how it was. WB4NKL in the group, KN4R.
KN4R, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Brian. Well, attended the Ham Fest. We left here about 4 o'clock, and we were a little late. Not late, but the traffic was already moving into the Ham Fest. By the time we got there, I guess it was 7:45. I heard that they had a frozen lock and had to send somebody for some bolt cutters. But I couldn't believe nobody had a cigarette lighter or some matches. That's usually the cure for a frozen lock. Let's see. Stan, I don't know how I missed you, but I didn't run into you, and sorry about that. I picked up a Ranger 2 that I didn't need, but Bob W4BKC, he made me a price there I couldn't refuse, so I brought that home and picked up another tuning unit for this BC610 from Allen N40ZI. I think that was only two purchases I made. I sold a couple items, and we were inside. The temperature was cold, but there was no wind, and the sun was out, so it really wasn't that bad. We would have been fine outside. There was probably attendance was down somewhat because of that, but really wasn't an issue. I guess that's about all I got here. Enjoyed it. We got, like I say, left here at 4 and didn't get back to about 5 yesterday, so it was a long day. So on to you, Mark. KG4IUQ, it's WB4NKL.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Cliff. You sounded very good here. This is Mark, KG4IUQ in Shelby. I'm on the multi-LMAC AF68 with the PMR8 receiver. I'm using a half-wave dipole with an amplifier, and I'm using a Shure 444T microphone. I'll be interested to hear what my signal sounds like today, because we were really not too much microphone. The modulation was turned into kind of last week, and I wonder what it's like now. It was like twice as much as it should have been. I'm going to be visiting an old friend from North Augusta tomorrow. He called me up, and he was a member of the North Augusta Belvedere Radio Club when I was living in Aiken, South Carolina. This fellow is 99 years old. 99 years old. And he actually, in his younger years, actually did Morse telegraphy on railroad. That's not how he made his living throughout his life, but he actually has done that. And he is going to give me some radio equipment. Swan 350 transceiver, some kind of 1980 Collins transceiver, another transmitter, and some other things. I used to talk to him a lot, just a lot. Very nice gentleman. That was really some good time that I had in amateur radio when I lived in that area. Okay. I'm going to turn over to Charlie, W4MEC in the group. This is KG4IUQ.
Okay, Mark, KG4IUQ in the group, W4MEC. All right, your audio sounds great, Mark. Good signal. And what are we doing today? We're running ART13, listening on 75A3, and monitoring the modulation with a James Millen scope, tuning it up to a Dentron tuner to a 160 inverted V. Having some mic issues here. It's my adapter that takes 1/4-inch foam plug to 3/16, and if I don't hold my nose just right, it's going to drop out on me. So don't want to push it too hard. Nice 51 degrees here. Sun's out, partly cloudy, white fluffy clouds moving through. Overall, it's a nice looking day out there. All right, so over to Jimmy, K4JAL in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, this is K4JAL. Well, I'm getting beat up by QSB today. People coming and going, carrying on. It's a beautiful day up here in the mountains. However, it's not a beautiful day in my office. I'm in here sorting through 1099s, grieving over tax period. I'm on the ART-13 and sprucing up the signal and sticking it out on the end of a wire, listening on the SDR console. I guess I'll give it to Gary. Hello, Gary. K3OS, K4JAL.
K4JAL, K3OS. Afternoon, everybody from Hickory. A little partly cloudy, temperature in the 50s. Did our walk earlier. Actually, this morning wasn't too bad. So I think for everybody who walked back in that a shout out to Wilson. Got all the work, I guess. Done pretty good over here. And Mark, yeah, what a big difference. Sounds really good. Running the Gonset twins today, and I can tell you that the S meter on this thing knows only 2 positions. It knows just 5 and 20 over. Everybody's running 20 over today. I'm very happy about that. Over to Mir. WF2U K3OS battery.
K3OS from the group. This is WF2U. Well, I'm running low power now, but everybody's minimum 20 over 9. That's minimum. Receiving on the Drake 2B, receiving on the Drake 2B, and transmitting on the Harvey Wells DPS 50 Charlie, and with the Erzat carbon mic, the Telex 66T, and putting out probably about 15 watts or so into the Erzat halfway. So I'll keep it short. I don't know who it goes to, whether it goes to Steve, back to Steve, or if anybody's behind it. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Wilson.
This W4BOH, I didn't realize it was coming back to me, Brian. Before I go on, how's the audio, Brian? Am I breaking up? I'm hitting this thing pretty hard, over.
Sounds wonderful. Keep hitting it hard.
Well, this is a rig you've heard before, Brian. You want to take a guess what it is?
No. Tell me about it. Tell us all about it.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Wilson, W4BOH in Hillsboro. On AM, I've said a few words on my K3, but I'm on real AM today, and I'm surprised how good everybody sounds, and I'm surprised how many I'm hearing pretty well. This early in the day, I really didn't expect it. Jerry faded out. That's why I didn't come back. I guess maybe he turned it over to me, but he was strong when he came on, but then he kind of went down into the noise. And I'm interested to hear so much LMAC, and I'm amazed at how good the ART-13 sound. Real clear, and obviously not using a carbon mic. This is a rig from Gary that he posted for sale the other day. So it's an AS67 and a PMR7, and Gary has cleaned them up and done the modifications, done some mods, and of course I didn't know what I was getting. He told me it was usable, in fact that he had been using it, but it's just beautifully clean, and as far as I can tell, working fine. So I found an old D104, and I'm glad that I'm sounding okay, because I have some D104s with bad elements. If anybody knows where to get good replacement elements for D104, please tell me. I think I have 2 or 3 with bad elements that I'd like to picks up and pass on. I'm feeding a loop, an 80-meter loop, but with one broken leg. It broke and it got some trees that broke loose, so I have an open loop, you might say. One leg's lying on top of the house. It loads up pretty well, and I work quite a bit on it. It's too hard to get into the trees and fix it right now. So I'll go from the AF67, actually going through a Powstar tuner out to the loop. And the power supply is from Gary. I got the whole smear from Gary. It's an LMAX supply that he's worked over, somebody has, so it doesn't have DC anymore, but boy, it works great on AC from the wall. I've been on the NCQP all day, QSO party. That's been pretty good. I've worked almost 200 stations all over the place, plus Japan and Germany. So I think it's pretty successful. Not a tremendous number of people there, but the ones that are there are making quite a number of contacts. I think that's most of it. Glad to meet you guys. I've heard about you from Brian, but now I'm here. If you want to see my modern station, you know, I have mostly modern stuff. You can see it on QRZ, QRZ.com, W4BOH. You might get a kick out of it. And Brian, I don't know where it goes back, so I'm gonna tell you, let you do it. I don't think it goes back to KZ4B, I guess. So I'll try that. This is W4BOH.
All right, W4BOH, this is N4LQ, your neck control for this evening. November 4, Lima, Quebec. My name is Steve, and I'm in Shelby, North Carolina. And I'm just enjoying listening to all the fine boat anchors. And yeah, Wilson, the Gary AF67 sounds great. And yeah, I think everybody's coming in. Now, the signals aren't real strong yet. I've noticed some are kind of weak, and I'm getting a little noise here, so I've heard it better. But the sun is still up, and probably within the next half hour, things will improve. Last night, 160 was a mess of contest, and I got on at my usual 8 o'clock on 1864, and there was a guy on there just having a CQ fit, trying to get somebody to get a point and give him a 5.9. So I don't know what the contest was, but I guess they were having a good time. So nobody could do anything else but that last night. We'll try again tonight, and if not, tomorrow night on 1864. And everybody, Wilson, you're welcome to join if you can get on 160 with your droopy loop there. Anyway, I just got a shipment of plastic bins in from Amazon to put parts in. I'm in the process of trying to clean up my junky shack down the basement, try to get things organized a little bit, and maybe get on the air from down there before too long. And let's see, Mir, I thought your TBS 50 sounded good with that carbon mic. Surprisingly good. And Mark, you're sounding good on that, on your Shure mic. I still think the D104 sounds better, but the Shure's doing okay. And real fine on Dalton. I looked through all those pictures from Dalton, and you know, there's the usual Ranger, a few Rangers, and didn't see a whole lot of boat anchors. Kind of like Orlando's pictures. I saw a few boat anchors, but not near as much as I'm used to seeing. Not like here in Shelby. So I'm looking forward to Shelby. And Charlotte, they usually have a bunch of them too. So I'm going to try to make it to the Charlotte Ham Fest also. And John, sorry to hear about your neighbor breaking his ankle there. But it's nice of you to take the Chick-fil-A over and feed the geese. So with that, I guess we'll turn it back over for another round. WA4. Oh, wait a minute. Let's check, see if anybody else wants to join. This is N4LQ. Okay, didn't hear anything. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WA4LLR. Okay, good round. Good signals. Everybody's pretty strong up here. Mirror was a little light, but other than that, everybody had a strong signal. The band's quiet up here where I am today, which is highly unusual recently, and I'm thankful for that. Stan, the 813 rig sounds good. John, sorry to hear about your neighbor, and you're correct on the Johnson 500. VFO shows 160, but the band switch does not. So I guess they did use the same VFO from the Ranger and so on and so forth. Brian, the Globe Champ sounds good. Cliff, okay on picking up the Ranger 2. Glad the weather wasn't bad down there. Cold without wind is not too bad. Let's see, Mark. Yeah, I think the AF68 with the Shure is sounding fine. And that's wonderful about your 99-year-old friend that was a railroad telegrapher for some time. And congratulations on the rigs. Charlie, I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear that dynamotor whine on the ART-13. Jimmy, sorry about the tax season. Gary, the Gonzit twins sound good. Mir, copy on the 15 watts. And Wilson, nice to meet you. My name's Dave. I'm in Burnsville, North Carolina. And your AF67 sounds good. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Well, interesting enough, we had an X2 class solar flare around 2:30, but it sure isn't hurting anything. Space weather's pretty active. Sunspot count's 215. Solar flux index is 199, and the K index is 1. So I'm surprised that the geomagnetic field is that stable. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 1836, the siege of the Alamo began, lasted 13 days. On this day in 1954, kids received the first polio vaccine. On this day in 1965, Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy passed away at age 74. On this day in 1945, 6 U.S. servicemen raised the American flag on the summit of Iwo Jima during World War II. And on this day in 1822, Boston was granted a charter to become a city. On this day in 1685, George Frederick Handel was born in Germany. So that's a few items from this day in history. That's about it for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and say 73 on this round, and probably will listen to the end of this round, but I won't come back for a 73 if there is one. So thanks for calling, Steve. Here goes Stan, W4KR, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR, W4KR. Well, let's see here. Next time around, I'm gonna have to do what Dave is doing. I'll listen out, but I won't be back for a third round. Got to start dinner. My day to do dinner. John, 4 Bravo. I have a Johnson 500. Didn't know what to call it for a second. I have one here that I'm looking at, and the rig operates from 80 to 10, including 11. The VFO plate has 160 on it, and it's the same VFO plate they used on the on some of the Rangers and the Valiant. I guess they were saving coins. Did not print a separate one with 80 meters missing. John BBC has one also. 80 through 10 meters input power it can be about 500 watts. You get about 300 watts out of them. And it is the same VFO that they use in the Ranger, the Viking 2, which is separate, but they're still the same circuitry. The Valiant, the Navigator, and the Viking 2 all and the 500 all use the same VFO. So I can see somebody looking at one. You can. As Dave said, you look at the front panel and there ain't no place for 160, but you look at the VFO and should be, but there isn't. Anyway, let's see here. What else? Forgot to mention before. One of the things I brought back from Dalton was I had a friend down in South Georgia repainted my CR88 cabinet, and I picked it up yesterday. Actually, I picked it up Friday night and put it in the cabinet this morning, and that's the receiver I'm using this afternoon. This the RCA CR88 is really an AR88 with diversity, with an extra control and circuitry for diversity reception. Love the receiver. It's a great receiver. Been using it I picked it up last May, and I spent about 3 months updating it, and I love it. It's a great receiver, stable. Even though circa 1940, the stability of the thing is just outstanding, and it is sensitive. It will hear anything. Let's see, what else do I know? I think that's really about it. Oh, I'm sorry, Cliff. No, I didn't see. I recall from listening to you earlier in the week. I know you were coming, but I wonder how you came, Cliff, and I wonder if I've been surprised to learn that there's been nothing done on I-40 yet, which is hard to imagine. But I wonder how you guys came. Did you come down this way? We just go across with I-40, half of I-40 being out of commission. There's a lot more traffic on I-70, on I-75 and 85. And 85 under normal circumstances, 85 can't handle any more can't handle the traffic it normally has, but there's a lot more truck traffic on it now because of the loss of I-40. Let's see. John, back to you, and I wonder if that answers your question about the 500. KZ4B in the group, W4KR.
Okay, W4KR in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Stan. And I appreciate the feedback from you and Dave. I guess the reason Johnson 500 doesn't have 160, one reason is that it would take a huge coil and capacitor versus the 80 meter coil and capacitor to fit in there, and it's already a darn big unit. And I've got a 160 through 10 meter B&W coil in my BTA 1R1 broadcast transmitter that I'm trying to put on the air, and that coil is a monster, and it's the only one I've seen. Most of them are just 80 through 10, but I lucked into a 160 through 10 coil, and of course it takes more capacity, and I've got that taken care of. So thanks for the feedback. And Mark, I think your 444 mic sounds great. It's very inspirational. I've got one from my AF67 and plan on using it. It sounds so good. It's up there with the D104 if it's not better. The QS Baker here is pretty bad today. Some signals are very strong and they'll go from strong to weak. And I could not copy mirror at all on the last go round. The 15 watts just didn't make it. And a lot of times mirror is the strongest station. Today, I think that honor probably goes to Steve or Dave. And so let's see. I was gonna. Let's see. What else was that? Oh, question. And this is for Brian and Steve. Is this, sir? I hadn't looked at the calendar. Is this Thursday going to be in March where it'll be the luncheon at Spartanburg, or does that fall next week instead of this week? I'm not sure. I think the Charlotte Ham Fest is the 5th, so maybe it's next week. I don't know. But somebody comment on that, so I'll be cocked ready to fire if it is. And Brian, if it is, are you planning to go? Should I head to your house or go straight to Steve's? So, that's about all I've got. Thanks for calling the net, Steve. Enjoyed it immensely. It's supposed to be nice and warm this week, and it was actually not too bad today. The wind wasn't blowing too hard, and it's a smattering of warming up. I just don't understand how anybody could be against global warming. I think it would be great. Just saying. So on that note, I'll be around as long as the net is. So just everybody stay warm. Hope you have a great week coming up. This would take it over to, let's see, Buddy. And you're coming in nicely today. As usual, WB4ARK and the group KZ4B over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK, well, global warming is destroying the Earth. So I just wanted to make this comment. I don't know how many of you knew Robert Downs. He lives in Georgia and sells manuals and parts, quite a few various parts. Well, he has closed his business and in December, and so he won't be selling anything anymore. So if you're trying to get in touch with him, I guess that's why you can't get a reply. And Mir, your signal was unreadable this last go around. I don't know what's happened, but not a very good signal. And so Mark, your mic, that Shure mic sounds great. You're hitting 100%, and it really sounds good. So you've got a good mic there, a good setup. And Charlie, I really like that. Hear that dynamotor come up, and nice to hear your ART13 on the air. And that Millen monitor, I hope that that unit's doing well. I hope you didn't have to make too many modifications to get that to work correctly. Let's see. Well, I think that that's about it for me. I'm going to say, Well, Steve, your audio is not quite as good as it has been. It's got some kind of a tinny sound to it, and so that's about it there. The sun is out here. We did have some clouds off to the southeast, west, and kind of blocked the sun for a little bit, but the sun's back out, and so over to the north is clear, blue sky, and so that's that. So we'll say 73, and everybody have a great upcoming week. And KN4R, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy. Very good. WB4ARK in the group. KN4R. Well, great copy. Everybody's just booming in here. I'm just sitting back really enjoying listening to everybody's signal today. And great collection of old gear here on the net. So I don't have much more. I'm going to go for a walk here, but I'm going to listen to Wilson next transmission first, and then I will head out the door. So I'm going to go ahead and say 73s. Enjoyed it. And John, if you're still listening, next Thursday, not this Thursday, is the Old Friends Luncheon, and of course Charlotte Hamfest is the next day, Friday and Saturday. And I have a VA doctor's appointment in Charlotte at 8:30, unfortunately. So what I'll do is go to that and then drive directly to Spartanburg. So I guess I will. I guess I'll just have to meet you there for some chicken livers. So anyway, 73s, everybody. Thanks for the Dalton update, Steve. I'm not sure. I did not see a flex in any of the pictures, but maybe you did. So I want to hear more about that. So and Cliff, congratulations on the Ranger 2. So over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL in the group, KN4R, 73s but listening.
KN4R, WB4NKL. Okay, Brian. And everybody's sounding pretty good. Mirror was a little weak, but I did copy him here. And say hello to Wilson. I don't think I've worked here before. And I'm Cliff. I'm located in Limestone, Tennessee, in the eastern part. And I did look at your QRZ page, and it looks like you've got a lot of modern equipment like I've got here. It the shack looks sort of similar. Looks comfortable. Let's see, Charlotte Hamfest. I hadn't planned on going, but Chuck over here in N4IYQ's talking about going, and I told him if he goes, I'll ride over with him to keep him company. So might get to make that one, but we probably won't be selling. We'll just come over for the day. And Stan, good deal on your CR88. I've got an AR88. That has to be one of the heaviest receivers around. It outweighs the DX100, so it's got some weight to it. And we go down to Dalton. It's a pretty straight shot here. Get on 81 and down 75 through Knoxville, so we don't have to. We're not involved with any mountains or rivers in that direction. So but it is about 200 miles. So it takes a good 3.5 hours to get there from here. And let's see, I did get a walk in there after lunch. It was pretty nice here in the 50s, and I've got the shack. It's actually up to almost 70 degrees here with the heat on today, but it's around 50 degrees outside. So I might be around tonight, Steve. I'll try to get back out here at 8 o'clock and give you a contact there on 160. I'll go ahead and say 73s. I guess it's getting close to end of net time, so enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Steve. And Mark, rig sounds good, and congratulations on all the new equipment. And KG4IUQ, WB4NKL.
Thank you very much, Cliff. This is Mark, KG4IUQ. Steve, you're saying that D104 sounds better than the Shure 444T. I understand what you're saying there. I guess right now it's a matter of a connector. You see, I'd have to change it because my D104 has one of those odd size connectors on it. And you're sounding good over here. I am getting some QSB for a lot of the folks today. Dave, your AF68 is sounding good. And Stan, W4KR, you sound good. KZ4 Bravo sounds good here, and I'm sorry to hear that his neighbor fell and was injured. You say that the 444T sounds good, and I'm glad to hear that. Buddy, ARK sounds good on the ART13, and that my microphone is at 100% modulation. I'd be surprised at how hard it has been for me to get to where I can adjust these microphones. The manual is actually a good way to go. They explain a way where you can get 100% modulation, and it actually works. Brian, KN4R, sounding very good. WB4NKL, you sound very good. And Charlie, you sound good on the ART13. And Jimmy, K4JAL, the ART13 sounds very good. Gary, K3OS, very good sound. And Mayer, I'm really glad to see that you have gotten that radio for Harvey Wells to work. And I heard you say the words carbon mic. I think I heard you say Telex 66T, and I think you said you're using a carbon mic by way of the Telex 66T, and I gotta really try to look into that and get some information about how that works, because I don't get any way of power in that Telex 66T whenever I'm trying to do that. And I'm really I really need to learn about that, because you said a couple of weeks ago that shouldn't use the same power that goes to the relay to go through that mic. And I understand that much, but you also said something like the power for the Telex 66T should be developed by I think you said the cathodes of the 6L6. And I don't really think that's happening in my radio. But it's really good you got that to work. And W4BOH Wilson in Hillsboro, you're sounding good here. I'm going to turn it over to Charlie, W4MEC in the group. This is KG4IUQ.
Okay, Mark, real good. KG4IUQ and the old friends, W4MEC. Alrighty. Well, when Amir keyed his transmitted, he kind of drifted on to frequency, but after he settled in, it was a good solid Q5 copy here. So, and hello to Wilson. I forgot to mention that last time. Got a good signal in Henderson County, North Carolina. And now my name is Charlie. And yes, the shack is warm enough out here in the garage to actually run the ART13. So actually, I had my kerosene heater going last night, and I was working on a project, and I dragged out my Alinco DX70 and hooked it up out here on a 1864, all ready to participate and work on my project at the same time, and all I got was people calling CQ contest. 5-9 South Carolina. Oh boy, great. So anyway, I called Steve a few times, but he didn't answer. So the guy on 1864 at the time was about 1865 or something, or maybe 1863. I can't remember. But I just said to heck with it. Steve, I've got a 4x6 speaker in a custom enclosure that I've got screwed to the rafters overhead in my garage here. It's about 6.5 feet above my head, and using the 75A3, and to listen to you in the wide position, and the audio sounds good. I won't say there's a lot of bass in it, but it's a good, I would call, communications quality signal, and it would punch through the QRM really well, but no issues on this end here. Sounds good, but I'm used to that. Just run-of-the-mill audio that you get with 4-inch speakers and 6-inch speakers. Anyway, let's see. Anything else here? I don't see anything. Was working on my buddy's TCS and got the power supply done and fired it up. And of course, all I get out of the TCS is nothing but hum. No noise, no nothing. So now that I got power for it, now I got to fix the darn thing. So it rains, it pours. Let's see, Jimmy, K4JAL in the group, W4 machine.
W4MEC, K4JAL. Well, I just got over Montezuma's revenge last week and spent 15 or so hours in hospital waiting rooms, and now I've got a chest cold. My wife's had a cold, missed a day of work. We can't win. Anyway, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Steve. Your communications quality for sure, but you don't sound like Steve on that rig. Now, that's just all there is to it. Wilson, welcome aboard. I'm up here in Burnsville. My name's Jimmy, and I'll give it over to Gary. K3OS, K4JAL, 73, guys.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much. I'm going to do the same thing. Of course, cold all week. Fortunately, it's not been so terrible, but it's going around. So I'll say 73s to everybody. It's been nice hearing everybody. Signals have been very good, which is nice for a change. So, let's see. I'll turn it over to Mir. Wilson again. Good to hear you. The radio sounds good. Mir, WF2U, K3OS.
Okay. Very good. KTOS and the group pursues WFTU. Yeah, I saw a copy of everybody. The weakest signal is 20 over 9. I think, though, that the estimator is a little bit generous in my rate will be. But anyway, I had to work on this TBS 50 because of instability. It had RF, it was taking off all the time. And I put a suppressor, the traditional suppressor in the place of the 807 with resistor and with several loops of wire on it. And I took out the 2-meter little coil that is on it. I think it's radiating all over the place. It quieted it down. It's still a little bit touchy in tuning. But if I try to get more power on it, because at this level it seems like it's okay. So I have to work on it a little bit more. But this is the first time really that I'm having it on the air. It has push-to-talk. There is a push-to-talk relay in the power supply. And Mark, you don't have to do anything. If you have the TBS 50, the Charlie model without modification, all you have to do is plug in the microphone and it will be powered up. So I don't know what the problem is. if you cut off the plug, the original plug that the comes with, then you have to wire it. It's absolutely plug and play. Every carbon microphone is wired that way. That's the standard. Don't have to worry about anything. Just plug it in and it works. So, again, unless you have some modifications in there. With that, and Wilson, if you copy this, you were making 15 over 94. And everybody was talking about 5 dB in the last round. The major is the Air Mike Echo India Romeo, and I'm near London, South Carolina. With that, it's back to you. W4 POH, this is 66 uniform.
Okay, W4BOH, we're listening for your final. Wilson, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I cannot hear Meyer. He won't remember me, but we crossed paths a long time ago, 15 or more years. I sold him some flexible cables for tuning aircraft radios. I don't know what kind, but I posted them somewhere, and he saw them and bought them. I'm going to get back to the QSO party pretty soon. But Jimmy, I have a warm spot for Burnsville. My family and I visited the New Ray Inn in the mid-50s. It was a nice place, really fun, wonderful. Family food and all that sort of stuff. And trees are still growing all around in the square, and I guess it was pre-interstate. It was quite a nice visit. And I saw it a couple years ago in disrepair. That was kind of sad. So I'm going to get off. Thanks for letting me in here, guys, and I enjoyed it. I'm going to get back to the QSO party, among other chores that I'm supposed to do. Enjoyed hearing these mostly hi-fi signals, and looking forward also to the Charlotte Amfest. Maybe I'll see some of you there. N4LQ, W4BOH.
All right, W4BOH. This is N4LQ. Very good, and I think we've about wrapped it up here for today. Appreciate everybody checking in, and we will say 73s. And if you can make it tonight on 160, we would be glad to have you, as long as the contest isn't raging. But it's every night at 8 o'clock on 1864. And the luncheon somebody mentioned, I think John, that's not until next week, so that would be March, the first Thursday in March would be the 6th. And I do hope to go. So we will we'll clear out of here, 73s, and we'll see you later. This is N4LQ closing the Old Friends Net. And I hope I got a little more bass now.
It does sound better.
Yeah, it must have really been tinny.
You could notice it. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but you sound like yourself now. Over.
All right, well, I can make it sound any way I want with this processor. I'm using the Sun SDR and a condenser mic, which I just hooked up before the net. And you know how you listen to yourself and you sound pretty good, but sometimes that doesn't work. So hopefully it's closer to being flat across the spectrum now.
You got it right. And 7-3, thanks for calling the net. See you not this coming Thursday, but Thursday next.
All righty, we'll see you. KZ4BN4LQ is clear. Mark, KG4IUQ, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I just, you sound fine, but I thought, well, if you could find a female quarter-inch stereo inline connector, which you can get off Amazon, you can make yourself up a pigtail, putting one of your little male plugs on one end, the female on the other, and then that way you could use your D104 or the Shure however you want.
Okay. Let's see. You're saying are you talking about one of those quarter-inch stereo jacks, and somehow you wire that up? I'm not sure what you're saying, but I do understand that you could make something up that would adapt it. I do get that.
Well, I think your D104 has a male quarter-inch stereo plug, and you just need a quarter-inch stereo jack that's made for inline use, so it has kind of a sheath around it. You know what I mean?
I understand that. I don't believe I've ever seen one, but I do know what you're saying.
I had something.
I'm still here, Steve.
Oh, hello, Mayor. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at them here on Amazon. $7.99 for 4 of them. Yeah, Mayor, you were about 3 kcs low. I think that was part of the trouble. That thing drifts a bit. Yeah, Charlie, what'd you have?
I was going to, I just realized I was in tune the entire time on this Art 13. I was tuning my antenna. I forgot to go to operator. I was going to suggest that in lieu of one of those inline, just a regular chassis type, and use a pill bottle and put one in the cap and one in the base and wire them together. It's just straight across, tip to tip, sleeve to sleeve, ring to ring, and use it as an adapter. But if you can't find sometimes those inline ones are a little difficult to wire up and unsort, especially when you put the cover on, screw on the cap. So I go the easy route with a pill bottle, but you know, the old metal film cans were the best, and then they went to plastic film cans, and I used those for a while, but now there's no more film cans, so I use a pill bottle. N4LQ and KG4IUQ W4 machine.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of them here on Amazon that you don't need a pill bottle for, but let's see, either plastic or metal, and they're the same price. Quarter-inch stereo TRS, which tip ring sleeve, female connector, pack of 4. That's also 6.35 millimeters. So either that or quarter-inch, same thing, I guess. Can be here tomorrow for $7.99 prime, 1-day shipping. What do you think, Mark?
Well, it sounds like a good idea. I'm trying to envision in my mind what exactly we're talking about. Seems like, okay, I would take the regular plugged microphone cable and plug it into something like that, and then it would have to have on it one of those smaller plugs that would fit into the, well, no, it would that would fit into the other transmitter, because it has the plug that's not the normal size. And then if I were to use the microphone If I use this microphone here with the AF68, I just plug it in there. But if I were to use my D104, I would have to have a place to plug that in that would accept that plug, and it's a little smaller than normal. So I'm trying to really see exactly what would truly be happening, and I would need to know before I do it.
Well, I guess it's harder to explain than I'm not doing a good job, but this thing is a 1/4-inch female. Your D104 is a 1/4-inch male, so you just plug this into the female. That takes care of that. And then from that thing that you buy, this female, you run a short piece of cable and put your little plug that you got a bunch of them. I know you bought a whole pile of those small plugs. Put one of those on there and plug it into your Harvey Wells, or I think that's what you're trying to do, or you're talking about. You know what? I think I got it backwards. Yeah, you got an AF67, AF68. So you want your D104 has that little plug on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you need a female, what you call it, whatever size that, what is it, 3/16, I think it is?
I don't recall at this time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3/16.
That's it.
I don't know if that's something, I don't think that's a very common thing there. You may not be able to find one of those. 3/16 female inline jack.
It probably exists somewhere.
Well, here's one for a brake line. Boy. Oh, well. Well, you got two D104s, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I've got two D104s, but the thing is, I've got one real good one that has a good head. And I have another one that's unamplified, and it's good, but I don't really have a good head on it. My other head is not really up to par. I don't really like to mess with the head. I really try to just don't take that thing out of the one that's working well. I just want to not mess with it. I actually have 3 D104s, but only one good head.
Oh, well.
Okay, I'm out of here, Steve. I tried to get it 160 tonight.
Yeah, okay. Looking forward to it. And hopefully the contest won't be going tonight. WF2U and 4LQ will be clear.
Okay, the problem here is that I have to make a switch just to turn the VFO, because the only way for me to zero this is to keep the receiver on while I'm pressing the microphone button. So I have to do like a little push button switch on the VFO to keep the voltage on it.
Yeah, okay. All righty. Well, keep plugging away at it.
But at least the audio is okay, so Steve, not tried tonight. Hopefully the bend is going to be clear. Maybe we'll see you later.
All right, we'll see you. All right, we'll see you later, Mark. Charlie, if you're still there. Yeah, N4LQ 73.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve and Charlie. Thank you for the information. And Mayor, you have a good evening. I'll talk to you all.